Go.
Well, I want to start from the philosophical stance of antinatalism, that is basically the belief that bringing children to the world is cruel. We're bringing a children that doesn't consent to the fact of going to the of being born. So it's basically cruel because we have things like suicide, wars, violence, narco traffic, discrimination, pollution, sickness, health issues, trauma, and bullying that may affect that person that didn't even wish to be born.
I get your concern, but I understand the point that you're stating, but these problems have always existed. And every generation faces challenges, and avoiding them won't make them disappear. Raising strong people, children, is now the future and is how we are going to solve this problem.
But by being born, by not being born, you avoid all those kinds of things. If you don't bring the children to the world, the children won't even experience neither pleasure or pain. So by putting it to the world, it's just giving that possibility that is going to suffer.
Well, but children are not going to suffer, they are going to create. Today we have more access to education, technology, medicines, and we have all the tools to raise children with resilience.
Yes, but according to our report of UNICEF 2021, they say that the children that born today will experience 7 times more olas de calor,
Heat waves. Heat waves.
2 times more wildfires, and it's not enough to educate them for say like the planet, because the damage is right here. Yes.
Anybody first wants to say something? Give me.
I understand your point, but if we don't have children, how will humanity continue to exist? I mean, regarding demographic stability, modern societies function best when there is a healthy balance between different age groups, particularly between the working age population and the dependent population. In other words, children and older people. When few children are born, the balance is disrupted, which can cause serious consequences in the economy and also the social system.
Okay. Jackie?
Yes, I wanted to contribute to what Vanda said. Children needing to be born to be able to solve this problem. But actually, in 2017, the Environmental Research Letters said that having one fewer children in developed countries reduces CO2 emissions by 58.6 metric tons per year, far more than going vegan or giving up flying. So this choice of not having children is literally better for the environment than to have children to solve the problem.
Over here. Camera?
Well, UNICEF in 2023 shows that over 70% of Gen Z globally are already involved in environmental and social activism. So we're not just bringing in life into the world, we are shaping like the ones who will fix it.
So in a ethical standpoint, you say it's like a solution to bring kids nowadays to the future generations to continue with the legacy that's real. They're not going to be the cure or the responsible to construct the world that we don't have. So if we think about the anti-nationalism, it's not the correct way to bring children just because they are the solution, but we cannot bring in a world that has these problems now. I have it that
Wait a minute. Let's see if they have an answer, and then Emily. Go.
Please.
Okay, let's go with Emily.
I would like to contribute to with that. The children that are going to be born, they're not gonna solve the problem because they're only children for at least 18 years. And the US Census Bureau data shows that the people that are child free by choice are investing in education, public policy, healthcare, and arts. So that doesn't mean like the children are gonna change the world. We already have people that is trying to solve these problems, but we have them in the past and the problem is not decreasing, it's increasing. So why bring children that are only going to suffer those consequences?
Alondra.
Yes, but that's exactly why we need future generations. We need to raise kids who care about the planet, who will take action, lead change, lead this change.
Give me 1 second. Yes, Jackie.
Well, yes, that is why we need to educate the children that are already born and the teenagers and the adults, even the older generation. But not, that is like a second effect of the consequences that the overpopulation is having on our planet. So we cannot having children just to solve this problem. It's like adding wood to a fire just to, I don't know how to say it, but just to turn it down over and over again. Instead of letting the fire go down completely by stop having children, and we are putting wood on fire again by having children just to do this.
Okay, Julian.
Well, it also involves a problem of time. We cannot just stop caring about having a legacy. We can't stop the problems right now, but having them leave a legacy is still part of the solution.
But still, to add a little bit more to what Jackson said, I do consider that by bringing more children to the world is not healing the world, but just bringing more people to suffer. Because there's statistics that say that 7 million of premature deaths per year are because of pollution. Besides, we have that 99% of population around the world breathe air that exceeds WHO guideline limits and contains high levels of pollutants. And besides, there have been discoveries of babies that have 10 times more microplastics in their bodies than us. So it's not a solution, but a problem, but then adding a problem.
Well, Jacqueline said, I have to disagree with you because we are not having overpopulation, we have underpopulation actually. Global population decline is a serious risk, and without young generations, our economies and societies will collapse. And according to the United Nations, over 60% of the world population now lives in countries below the replacement fertility rate, that is 2.1 births per woman. And actually, South Korea now has the lowest fertility rate in the world, with 0.7 births per woman, which means this, we don't have an overpopulation, we have underpopulation, and this means a risk for the future because we're not having more children.
Okay, Mia.
You said that we don't have overpopulation, but there is already like cities or countries that they are not having water, and increasing the people in the world, it demands more water, more food, and housing, and this could cause overpopulation in a few years.
Listen.
Yes, but also in places like Japan, South Korea, Italy, and even in the United States, there are underpopulation, and this causes the labor shortage, economic decline, and less support of elderly people. And well, overpopulation is like the main threat anymore. It's more like the fact that we are not replacing ourselves is in many places there are like overpopulation, there are also underpopulation.
Oh, not.
It continues what you're saying about continuing the legacy of humans, according to the Berkeley articles. While concerns exist about continue our human race, the climate fertility rate is actually demonstrated that developed countries, such as in South Africa and Mexico, are often associated with positive societal changes, then contributing to the shift towards sustainable growth to help or reduce the problem that we're living nowadays. It's actually related to less population, less problems.
You give me 1 second. Do you have a reply to that, Jess?
I think the problem isn't system, it's the system.
It's what again?
System.
The system. Okay.
Overpopulation is often misunderstood, and the real issue is the overconsumption and unequal distribution of the resources, not sheer population members or numbers.
The direct answer to that, please.
Yeah,
Emily?
I think the problem is that we're not like in favor of like finishing humanity for constantly. We're just in favor that if a couple decides to not have children, not perfect. And obviously there's gonna be couples that decide to have children and it's totally okay. But what we're saying is that we're not like, if a couple decides to not have children, it's because there's a lot of data that supports that in nowadays world, it's not safe and it's not convenient anymore.
Okay, direct answer to that.
So we are not pushing like any ideology. I'm pointing out that having children is still vital and personal choice for many. So it's not like pushing someone to have children, like we are saying like that not having children could be a problem in the future. And I know that this is deeply personal and must respect like the decision of everyone. And this is not like forcing someone to have children, but we need to be so conscious that society should provide support and not pressure to have children, but it can be a problem in the future. So we need to take care of that.
It could be a problem in the future. How?
Or like the economy can collapse or the society because there are more people.
Okay.
Well, maybe not having children may become a problem in the future, but having children is a problem right now in the present. Because there's many factors contributing to the choice of a couple deciding not to have children, like the economic and financial aspect, the environmental impact, and the mental health and the well-being of the couple. For example, in the Conducef in Mexico in 2022 said that the average cost of raising a child is from 1.5 to 2.5 million pesos. So that is an extremely high like amount of money that not all the people that are having children right now do count on. So it's really a problem right now of people having children.
Over here.
I hear you, and I don't think that it's easy because economical represents a problem, but that's exactly why we need better systems to help people, to help families, not disencourage them. And parenting, I know it's challenging, but with the right support, it can be a source of happiness and joy and not despair.
Over here, let's see. Emily, then Nat, then Ivana.
Even though you said the problems are the system, how can you be sure the system are gonna change if we have the same system for decades?
Well, like raising these children, we can improve the future and we can make good things for our system. So this is like raising children. We can help to have a better world in the future and help that the systems can be better.
That,
You mentioned before that having children today make you like bring happy and health, right? But let's keep it with the focus at parents, and mothers and fathers. Now today's emotional strain and mental health deterioration is some factor that contribution to raising children nowadays, or future and legacy. So becoming a parent today is strongly related to stress, to high levels of anxiety and burnout that it is shared to the children that is gonna grow up. We say it before that they are the new helpers to the world that we're becoming better. But according to the Journal of Infectious Disorders and the World Health Organization, 20% of global children around the world are growing up with anxiety, primary levels, and burnout related to their parents. They are born into the world, they are not prepared to become one, and therefore not raising children.
over here. Okay, let's move on to, let's move on to a different posture, a different stand, another reason why you guys think the way you think. Ivana?
I want to talk a little bit about what Hannah said about choice. Whereas I do agree that people have the choice of not having children or having them. Where does choice come from? Because people often have children because of socio-cultural factors or religious factors regarding having a heritage or having a legacy. But isn't it selfish to just have children because you have to follow a certain schedule or a certain way of thinking, or just wanting to have someone to love you?
Well, I'm not saying that choice, it's like, or it depends in every person, but the choice can be like in different ways. For some people likes to have children just for the family or for their love or something like that. So we should respect for all choices and support families in today's world. Like I said before, I'm not pushing like any ideology, like has to be regardless of tradition, but it depends on every person, so.
Anybody else that would like to strengthen you guys' opinion?
I mean, we now have more tools than ever to raise children's, well, access to parenting, education, child psychology, and digital tools for parenting has increased by over 60%, in the last technology and knowledge today make it easier, because to be a better parent than in any previous generation, like today is more easier to have a children notice the more notice the easier like in the world, but notice notice difficult like before.
Okay, it's not as difficult as before. Lisbeth and then Jackie.
Also nowadays, the system is improving and well, by the education, there is more education in public schools. There are centers to, well, for the child to grow better. And I don't think it's a selfish thing
to have children. So I think it's the most selfless thing because you're creating a life, you're going to be care for that life, and that is also confirmatory that create a life give you the parents more satisfaction and more love to them. So I don't think it's a selfish way to think. I think it's the most selfless way to think.
Jackie?
Well, yeah, I think that for us to take advantage of those improvements, like the public health and the digital tools, we first have to have a stable environment for us to have children or for us to think of having children. But that is not the same reality as our grandparents, for example,
As what again?
as our grandparents.
Oh.
Because I know many old people that are our age, they were already married, they already had a house, some of them already had children. But in these years and in these decades in our present, it is practically impossible for a person of our age to even own a house. So I don't think we can say that it is easier now for having children than in the past.
Yeah.
You talk about nowadays a lot of people have access to tools to help. Let's be real, 2.2 billion people worldwide lack access to safely managed drinking water service. So can you imagine a world where those don't have the access to drinking water that is essential, and the 4.2 billion people do not have access to sanitation? A baby needs a child, a human being needs to be secure and born in a place where it has all the things to be grown up safely and in a way that is protected. So I don't think nowadays world is secure or least prepared to have new humans.
Over here. Give me a second over here.
Yeah, I agree, but I think we can educate our child because a Lancet study showed that families raising eco-conscious children can reduce emissions more effectively than some child-free adults who live unsustainably.
Unsustainable. Over here. Yes, Vale.
Okay, but according what you say, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change say that even if all CO emissions were stopped today, the global warming will continue for decades. So teaching a child about recycling or have a responsible consumption will not change the fact that they will grow in a first planet or facing worse escasez.
Scarcity.
Scarcity.
Yes. Emily.
Also, adding to what Vale said, our study in environmental research letter showed that having one or fewer children reduces emissions by 58.6%. And that it's an impactful personal choice because, like Vale said, even if we stop having like zero emissions, we still have global warming. So why put like another burden to a planet that is already in environmental degradation?
Emma.
Okay, we have faced challenges like this for decades. So we have always had these problems, but I don't think that all these problems relies only to have a child. Like I think you're saying having a child who have consequences of climate change and stuff like that. But there's a lot of problems that can cause this climate change, not only like having a child. So what I'm trying to say is that we have like other problems in the world, and we're like children, it's not just the problem to all these things that happen in the world.
We're not saying that children are exactly the problem of like health issues or environmental issues, but they're going to be victims of these kind of issues. Not only that, we have wars happening, we have violence, we have suicides, we have bullying. All having a children is exposing your children to this cruelty. So it's not their fault, but they're going to be victims of this inevitably.
Julian.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to take some time to talk about. There's already policies under the SDGs that well, that is just promote about about poverty and sorry, global education, and about something, well, about also what we talked about, even if there's other problems with our CO2 emissions, there's also that there's already more programs to support and improve those problems. And about, well, about the selflessness of the people, maybe not everything looks about it the same way. Those, and there may be those who see it as a selfish act, but it's mostly out of the problem that comes from them and their families, and they're trying to provide for something that they didn't have, and to improve that better, for better lives for their children, even if there's, well, and even if there is people who can't support the child, there's still more of a probability if there is more people. Chances of everything are still at risk and growing, but
Chances of what, excuse me?
of everything
Everything.
are, well, comes with risks and comes with more solutions, but there's always going to be a lot more people. If children, for example, disappear one day and no more children have well, nothing could remain. There's a problem that could be solved.
Let them answer to this. If there are no more children, if children disappear, there will be nothing.
Well, people,
Go ahead and then Jackie.
Well, realistically, we are about 8 billion people in the world, and many of them are children. So they will not disappear. People will still have children. So that is not a realistic thing to say. There will be more children, and even if they are not the solvers, they still will be the victims. So all of them will be victims of all the things that Alex said, but maybe just the minimum of them will be helpers on solving this problem.
You're saying sacrifices must be made.
Sacrifice what?
Must be made. In order for everyone to improve, there's going to be sacrifice. That's what you said. Well, in other words, because there's going to be people that can, but only a minority.
I said that of the people that will be born, realistically, the minimum of them will help solve this problems, like being raised with an eco mind and being activists and stuff like that. I never said anything about if you're not worth it, you're going to be killed or something like that.
You have a chance to answer, Julian.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said, the first, some of the first word, I didn't quite understand the first one.
I don't remember what was the first one.
Yes, we need to be paying attention, so. Sorry.
Well, so, well, I think you said about income. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand what you said, the first part, but well, and there will be people, well, kids that die, but and still be people born, And some of those are the solution, right? And that only comes with more people.
Mia?
Well, Rwanda said that in past years, having children was easier, but no, yeah, that now having children is easier, but having children is expensive, and not everyone has the opportunities and to raise a children with the necessary things. And with the past of years, the living cost is higher, so not everyone could raise their children.
Okay, well, I think we're going to start wrapping it up. So, this side, please, your conclusions. Each person can say a concluding statement or just a few, however, until you're finished, and then this side, your conclusions, okay? Go for it.
My response?
Okay, go ahead, one last response.
Well, I know that bringing a kid to the world is like expensive and all that, but having kids is not luxury. It is, well, there are already foundations for the future of that child. And well, the
Society.
Grows and improves. And well, to bring a kid, they help them to bring love, purpose, meaning, and that. So there are some foundations for that.
Okay, so let's start wrapping it up, please. Concluding comments and then concluding comments. And you guys be weighing also the concluding comments. Go ahead. Who would like to start concluding? Again, stance. We believe this. In summary, we believe this because. Yes, Jackie.
Summary, we believe that it is not selfish to choose not to have children because there are many factors like economical, financial, environmental, and mental health factors that contribute to this choice.
Okay.
Well, this stance was in today's world. Today's world has a lot of difficulties that have been addressed in this debate. So in today's world, it's definitely not good, not fair to bring another children to the world.
Summarizing, I'm still in favor. I mean, today's world is not ready to have children with peers, but at the same time,
Volume, please.
in the ethical way, having children is the future of the solution because they are made for bring love to make this the better world. It's not what we need to focus on, but we need to focus in what we have today. We have population, we have children that are suffering some many factors and stuff. And I think I'm still need to put attention on that and what's gonna happen in the future.
Okay, I think that people who really care about children, think twice before having it happen. Because having a child right now is not to bring them for a joyful world. It's about to sending them in una vida llena de
A problem-filled
Yeah.
world.
problems.
Okay.
I think not having children in today's world can offer like
Good.
significant personal and economic benefits, and it allows you to have like more freedom in yourself and not to have to take care of someone else.
Okay.
And I think it's choosing not to have children is environmentally responsible, mentally self-aware to not
Damage.
damage your child, and it could be also economically rational and socially contributed for yourself because you don't have to have children for them to be the cure. You can also by yourself be promoting and trying to solve these problems without putting a child over all the situations that are happening nowadays.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Let's go to this team's closing remarks.
Well, I think there's a matter of time. We are having kids because we're thinking, well, we are making a better world for them. Also, the people that has child is, well, if they can, they're trying to have a better place for them.
Okay.
I think that in a world full of uncertainty, having children is not a problem, it's like an opportunity for raising them with love, empathy, knowledge, etc. This could build a better future for all the generations, etc. Well, in my opinion, it is not the existence of children that creates global problems, but the system, behaviors, and choices that we made as a society that they will be changed. And the best way to do that is by raising the next generation to be more ethical and capable than the last one.
Well, to sum up, it's fair to still have children in today's world because global population decline is a serious risk, and without new generation, our economies and societies will collapse. And naturally, children are not here just to suffer; they are born to create, and we have more access to education, technological things, and medicine. And avoiding these problems that you said, it's not the solution. Like with that, we are not going to stop with these problems. So children, it's not an obstacle to this.
Alondra?
I think having children today is an act of people's hope, responsibility, and faith in the future. It's about building a legacy, creating meaning, and trusting that the next generation will overcome today's challenges and shape a better world. Choosing to have children today is not giving up on the planet. It's believing in it. We don't just raise kids. We raise the people who can save this earth.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. I am going to pause this and take a minute